Alright, so here we have Bitcoin and we are going sideways. Boring as shit. So we're going to go over what happens next and what the probabilities are on each side of the market. Alright, so we are being held down by the 50 right now. We're kind of converging up against the 21. Right on it right now. I mean, it really doesn't matter which side we go on the 21. 21 just basically hugging the price action. What matters is whether we can get above the 50 or not. What matters is if we break this range to the downside, or basically the 50 where the top of the range is to the upside. So it's all about which way we break out of this range. The top side is going to have major resistance because the 50 is right there. Bottom side, less resistance. Alright, so I have an alerts set on both sides of this range. You can kind of tell what I'd be doing. You're also going to have heavy resistance at this 100. I mean, you could even see a wick up to this in some sort of bull trap. Head back. If you head back down into the range, I would expect you to break the downside. But if you get a small rejection, come back down, test the top of the range, and resume up and break the 100, I would expect you to come back up to this high at about 18,000. Alright, so that's more of the bullish case. That would also imply that this RSI, which is a momentum oscillator, gets back above this last high. And basically works its way up into the bottom of the bullish control zone to this last high. Now, whether we bust through and get in the bullish control zone is going to mean whether we have bearish divergence or not. That's far and few in between, but that could imply, that this would just be another rejective move. Because if we get higher on that RSI than we did on these last highs, we're going to have bearish divergence. Now, like I said, that's far away. I'm just thinking of potential scenarios in the future if we do break bullish. I'm just telling you things to watch out for. MACD, which is also a momentum oscillator, is pointing to the upside barely. Positive momentum's kind of stable. Seems like it's waning a bit. But, I mean, we're basically sideways in a range, so these indicators could reset. Could work our way up to the zero line and then go sideways. Positive momentum could decrease to the zero line and just start converging into each other. BBWP, as you see, is very low, working its way down to the upper zone. Has that light blue color below its moving average. So the volatility is very low. It's still contracting. I would expect this to go sideways a little longer. Right now we're being held up by this VPVR level here to your right, which measures horizontal volume at a certain price level. So if we break that, I would expect us to come back down to the bottom of the range at about 16,550. And then if we break that, next stop is this low. I would expect some sort of a small bounce at the 16, almost 200 region. But ultimately, I think we would come down to 16,000. And then break this last low. If we do come back down here and break this last low right here, I do expect us to break this last low. And also the bottom of this box at 15,300. Next stop would be 13,800. Alright, I do have an alert here because I do want to watch the price action closely once it gets down to these levels. Now, I've been thinking about DCAing into here, and I might still dip my toes in a little bit. I'm going to save this for more of a macro analysis, though. I have two green boxes here, as you can see. So that's kind of where I'm looking at could be a potential bottom, but we'll get back to that because we are at an inflection point. If we break 13.5, those lower levels are in the cards. All right. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to get into whether this is a bottom or not right here, where the bottom is. We're going to save that for a macro analysis video, which I will be making fairly soon. I want to go over the bullish and bearish case of the macro analysis. So let's go check the daily real quick. The daily, we do have bearish divergence. That's kind of what played out into this huge drop. I mean, this drop was pretty nice. I mean, we got you know, 25% drop right there. So I would expect the bearish divergence to have already played out. We really don't have any bullish divergences to be aware of. You know, this one's a little too far back that I wouldn't think it would play out anyway. Your MACD just crossed your zero line. Negative momentum is increasing. The probability of the short side is more right now compared to what the daily's going at. All right, so this bounce could have been a corrective move. You know what I mean? I mean, as you went up, your oscillator still stayed in the bearish control zone, well, your RSI, and your MACD still continued to move on to the downside, printing some dark red bars on the histogram still. Let's go to the 8-hour and see what's going on there. So we could be making a higher low here, but we have not confirmed a low yet. So if the price action breaks down out of the bottom of that range, you know, that's going to be a non-confirmed low. We would need to get back above these candles at basically 17,000 in order to have this be a confirmed low and make a higher low. So we have made a lower high, not a confirmed low yet. So we're going to find out whether we make a lower low at about 15,850 or whether we make a higher high and higher, or a higher low at the level that we're at right now. So the 8-hour MACD crawling around, negative momentum decreasing sharply on the histogram. RSI still in the bearish control zone, deep in the bearish control zone. Did go into the oversold about halfway through this move. All right, so if you would have just sold because you got in the oversold, you would have missed most of the move. All right, stayed in the oversold for a while. After we had this pop, we got out of the oversold. Now we've just been flat in the bearish control zone. But like I said, your MACD's curling around, so if it can cross that signal line to the upside, that'll look pretty decent, at least for a larger bounce. 4-hour, still in the bearish control zone, MACD above its signal line. Positive momentum's pretty stable, so we don't want to start falling off a cliff there, because then more than likely we would cross our signal line to the downside. BBWP is contracting right now, so your volatility is going down. Obviously, you're moving sideways. So, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out which side of this range we break out. Like we were just on the 4-hour, by the way. That's about it for Bitcoin. Once again, if we break the 50, I would expect us to come up to the 100. It's all about this range. It's all about which way we break out of this range right now. And it's very important. This range is very important. It seems like a small range, but it's very important. So yeah, if you guys are liking this video so far, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below. One being the Discord. It is the place to be. We're going fast, very active. We talk about these moves collectively before they happen. We figure out this market as a team. So definitely join the Discord. Also check out the other links, one being Bybit. It's an affiliate link. And you get free deposit bonus and reduction on your trading fees. So definitely check out the Bybit promotion link. Moving on to stochastic and order block. So right now we do have, let's see here, let's go to the 4, the 8, the daily. Nope, we're going to go back down to the 1-hour. So right now your stochastic's pretty much nosediving. Had a retest to your signal line, nosediving down. About to leave the bullish control zone. So we definitely don't want to do that. We definitely do not want to leave. Well, actually, we are already leaving. Unless we get a bounce here. Unless we get the bounce here, we're going to leave the bullish control zone. Right now, you're basically riding that 20 SMA, which is, you know, basically the 21 EMA. But, you know, a little different. But you're riding on top of the middle band of the Bollinger Bands right now. So basically, if you start closing below this bottom band, you're more than likely going to break the bottom of the range. All right, but it's all up to the range. You know, once again, it's all about the range. Let's move on to Ethereum. Ethereum still respecting our red box. We're actually going to move it down since we are creating a range here. And I can't find, there we go. Just for some more precision, now that we have, furthered the story in the market. BBWP is contracting very much. As you see, we're going sideways, so your volatility is going to contract. MACD riding that zero line. Nothing to be aware of right here. We're pretty neutral. RSI also riding the neutral median zone, just converging and diverging away from that neutral median line. So basically, Ethereum's pretty easy. It's going to depend on what Bitcoin does. Ethereum's just going to go sideways until Bitcoin does something. So pretty clear cut for Ethereum. Did have your multi-crossover way up here, which lets you know to go short. Now your 21 and your 50 are just going sideways. You know what I mean? So nothing to be aware of. You got to wait till this thing breaks out of the purple red box one way or the other. Even if you break the range, I mean, if you get rejected from this purple box, there's a chance that you come back into the range. Now, if you get rejected from the red box, come back down, retest the highs of the range, then break out, I would expect you to come all the way up to about 1420 to 1415, somewhere in there. But that's the bullish case. The bearish case is that you break the bottom of the red box. I would expect a small bounce at 1,100. Ultimately, we would go to that level we've been talking about for months, which is $1,000. And after that, we'll come back to it, because then you're thinking, you're talking about 850, 650, maybe even 500. That's if Bitcoin collapses or not. All right, so let's move on to Solana. Solana had quite the bounce. Okay, you got all the way up to the bottom of the bullish control zone, had bearish divergence, cracked back down, got below your signal line, entered the bearish control zone. MACD fresh cross to that zero line, signal line also crossing right now. Negative momentum's pretty stable, moving sideways. BBWP is contracting, but not too much, and that's what makes me feel like this is a corrective move, because the BBWP was going down as the price action was moving up. Usually that signifies a corrective move. Also, you have your 21 crossing your 50 right now, and your 100 and 200 are already below each other. Your 100's below your 200, so you always want to, you always want to look at your trend and see whether your major moving averages, your larger ones, are above the smaller ones. So your 21's trying to get below your 50 right now. If these things fan out, I expect the price action to go lower. I expect the price action to go lower anyway, so I do expect that to happen. Once we break, basically right where we're at right now, next stop, back to $15. After that, I would expect a small bounce at $12.26, but ultimately I think we go to $10. I do think we go to $10. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below. I wish everyone well, and I'll see you tomorrow.